Is another stream gonna happen over there? I'm sorry? Is another live stream happening? I think to Instagram. Oh, nice. That's nice.
Check one, check two, check one, check two, check one. All right, check one, check two, check one, check two. Yep, check one, check two. Hello, check one, check two, check one, check two. Check one, check two, check one, check two, check one, mic check one, check one, check two. Mic check one, check two, check one, check two. Mic check one, check two. Yep, check one, check two, check one. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. Ever since I left the city, you got a reputation for yourself now. Everybody knows and I feel left out. Girl, you got me down, you got me stressed out. Cause ever since I left the city, you started wearing less and going out more. Glasses of champagne out on the dance floor. Hanging with some girls I never seen before. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing.
I Parkway already got one more.
I know
last
it,
name.
man.
Let it file up right at you.
Ever since I left the city, you and me, we just don't get along. You make me feel like I did you wrong. Going places where you don't belong. Ever since I left the city, you got exactly what you asked for. Running out of pages in your passport. Hanging with some girls I've never seen before. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. These days, all I do is wonder if you're bending over past someone else.
Wonder if you rolling off a bag was for someone else. Doing things I taught you getting nasty for someone else. You don't need no one else. You don't need nobody else. No. Why you never alone? Why you always touch a road? Used to always stay at home, be a good girl, you was in the zone. Yeah, you should just be yourself. Right now you're someone else. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know it now, I like me. But you can only be one thing. I know it now, I like me. That can only be one thing. Ever since I left the city, you know, from the moment you turn around.
2 minute warning, 2 minute warning.
Get up and drop it down.
You got this, Control 901. Appreciate
She
you.
know, she want all the fellas looking at. Cause they know, soon as a song come on with some rap. And she loves the attention. She get away.
All right, social media team, we ready? We are ready. Give me the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is noon on the International Day of Peace. It is my distinct honor, one of my great honors during every academic year, to start our Peace Day celebration at Parkway Northwest High School for peace and social justice. This is what we do. This is the way we start our school year, and we end it with our academic celebration and community celebration and graduation. This, to me, is the start of the heart of our school year, where we find joy because the fight for justice leads to communities at peace. That journey, that activism, that movement is what it's about. And that is why we need to start our school year be coming together with our faculty, staff, and our students. But before we do that, we lost a leader for peace and social justice in our city this week, directly tied to the activism around our schools. Please join me in a brief moment of silence for Dr. Constance Clayton, one of the great historical leaders in our schools, in our city, and a true fighter for the activism of what it means to step up for high expectations for students. Please join me. Thank you. Peace is about finding that inner peace. Dr. Constance Clayton, and I got to hear her speak briefly about a year ago. She was a leader that I've heard from many of my elders, my community leaders, my support system, of how great she was in finding the balance between caring and riding for students and holding the highest expectations, because we know that's what you deserve. And on that note, what we do here is in memory of her and riding for her and for each of our students, families, and community members here in Parkway. We start with the fight for social justice, leading to peace. And I will tell you, my journey is led here in 3 ways: that funding for our schools, for our students on my heart, because I worked in suburban Philadelphia. I worked out in the more rural areas of the city, or in the state, in Berks County, and I worked here. And I will tell you, the unconstitutional funding in our state is real. In the suburbs of Philadelphia, if you want to go on a trip, if you want access to do something, you pick up the phone and you call the bus that actually usually works for your district, and they come and they pick you up. in Berks County when we wanted to start a STEM program. Hey, let's figure this out. And it got done. We weren't wasting money, but the money was there. In this city of Philadelphia, there are so many talented educators, so many caring people, so many awesome neighborhoods, families, faculty, and staff who are grinding. And funding is the underlying part of our system that does not provide an equal footing for what happens to our students, our people, our people that we care about in this city that you deserve, like it does throughout the state. This is not a Jeff McFarland thing. It was the state courts that said the funding system was unconstitutional. This is not a Democrat or Republican thing, because the Republican Party basically did not challenge that ruling. There is no disagreement in the state, zero, except over how the heck to do something about it. That's why we are talking with leaders here today, including State Rep Brad, including Dr. Robin Cooper, including Elder Du Bois, who has just entered the room. We are honored to have these community leaders here to echo the fight for justice leading to communities at peace. But that starts with our student. So let me hand it over before we go to 1201 or 901 to Mr. Damani Morgan, 12th grader. Give it up for Damani, who's going to be talking about funding for schools.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'd love to say Happy Peace Day. I'm Damani Morgan, a senior at Parkway Northwest. Today we are gathered to talk about the future of Philadelphia and our schools. It's no surprise or secret that schools in our city are underfunded, and it's about time that we tackle this issue. Just last week, some schools in Philadelphia had to dismiss early because of excessive heat, because some schools don't have proper air conditioning. This is not only taking away learning time from students, but parents are struggling to find means and ways for their children to get home safely. It's important that we give students in our city the opportunity to give opportunity and access to a fair education, but we can't do that unless schools get funded that they need to best support their students. It's important that we update schools so students can be safe in the environment that they learn. I've been attending Parkway Northwest for 4 years now, and I can see areas where we could improve as a school community. Since my sophomore year at Parkway, we launched the Peace and Social Justice Academy. Our goal in this academy is to step up to peace and social justice issues and use our voice and platform to create change. At Parkway, we are also fortunate enough to have 2 dual enrollment programs, partnered with LaSalle and Arcadia University. While we are so fortunate enough to have these programs that will help students be college ready, this year at Parkway, we had to cut our art program. Students constantly ask, why don't we have certain programs at our school? And the answer we always get is, we don't have enough funding or teachers to teach this course. These issues are happening and it's real. Schools can't afford to keep courses that students need to learn. Schools can't afford to pay teachers, so we see a teacher shortage all around Philadelphia. Education should not come at a cost. Education is a right. Me and other students in our city have the right to a fair education. So today I'm calling on higher officials to do something about this issue. I'm asking you guys to fund schools more and give them the resources they need to best support me and other students across Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you, Damani. Heading back to his tutorial to join his co-leaders. It is my honor and privilege to build on that starting point. Thank you, Damani, with tutorial 901. Tutorial 901 is we fighting for body positivity. Let's give it up for tutorial 901.
You know everybody been waiting on that baby, man. I mean, it like this, and baby on baby drop, man, like this. You know, nobody drop shit. Let's go. I needed some with some bob in it. I put glass and whip with that blunt in my mouth, watch it swerving, that whip had a cop in it. My group got good, fly her across the country. I finished the show and I hop in it. I got me a million, I did it legit. I'm still with the I'm a hot. Oh, you asking for pictures with nigga? What's your name? Get the fuck out the spot, nigga. I'm trying to figure which deal I'ma take. I woke up, couple meal on my plate. Let's play.
My class and I decided to have our topic for Peace Day to be body positivity. We chose this topic to show love to everyone in their bodies. to show no matter what size you are beautiful. We are different in every which way, but what really matters is what's inside. Hope you guys enjoy. In a world that's filled with standards, let's break free and redefine. Everybody has a story, every shape, and a unique design. Embrace the curves, the lines, the scars. They're part of who you are. For beauty lies in confidence, and self-love will take you far. No more comparing, no more doubt. You're perfect inside and out. From head to toe, you shine so bright. A flare of love, they guide in light.
So celebrate your body's grace with every step, with every pace. For you are worthy, you are strong, a symphony of beautiful song. Let's spread the message far and wide that all bodies are beautiful with nothing to hide. In every shape, in every size, we find our worth in our own eyes. So stand tall, embrace your worth. For body positivity, we on earth. Together we rise, united we stand. In a world that's diverse, let's hold hands.
Once upon a time, there was a myth that said you had to look a certain way to be considered attractive. But then body positivity came along and proved that beauty is not limited to one specific mold. People realize that attractiveness comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and that embracing your unique features is what truly makes you beautiful. The myth was shattered, and now we celebrate the diversity and individuality of everybody.
Most magazines and TV shows and music videos make us believe that we have to be a certain shape or size to be viewed as pretty, but that's not true. Beauty comes in all different shapes and sizes. You do not gotta look like the girls online. Be happy with who you are. Do not let social media define your beauty. Do not let your mind rule your body.
Positivity is the right activity. 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 Oh my.
Tutorial 9-1, we're coming right down here. Beautiful start. Thank you to our 9th graders for coming in. That's awesome. DJ Head Rush, let's get the little music welcoming tutorial 902.
We came from nothing to something. I don't trust nobody, good to trust nobody. All of the gang and they come and get gang. Cry me a river, give you a tissue. Bad, cooking up with a pussy.
Tutorial 902 is rallying for teen mental health. Let's hear it, 902.
Records on records, got backers on backers, I'm riding around in a cool. I take your right from you. I'm a dog, loose, beat her walls, loose.
Our topic is teen mental health. We feel that this is an important topic to speak about so that we can better support teens and give them the help that they need. A study from the CDC shows that 22% of students in 2021 had considered suicide, up from 16% of students in 2011, with Black, female, and LGBTQ students at a higher risk.
My group specifically focused on teen mental health. I specifically focus on how gun violence affects teen mental health. Here's some facts and thoughts I have on the topic. Young survivors of gun violence have a high risk of getting a substance use disorder, becoming depressed, getting anxiety, and post-trauma stress disorder. Teens who have lost a loved one could and do have problems sleeping and personality changes that can make them have impulsive thoughts.
Our topic is teen mental health and bullying. About 20% of students ages 12 to 18 suffer bullying nationwide. Students who reported being bullied thought that the bully had the ability to influence other students' perception of them. Bullying is important because it can lead to physical injury, emotional problems, and in some cases, death. More than 5 million Americans struggle with mental illness. 1 in 15 people ages 13 to 18 have or will develop a mental illness in their lifetime. Mental health is important because it causes depression. Depression increases the risk for many types of physical health problems, mostly like long-lasting conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and strokes.
The Philadelphia district offers a free program named COOF is a program where you can chat with professionals, find support, and get self-help. If you're interested in talking to someone, we're passing out flyers. Also, you can find them in the council office.
Affirmations help you disrupt negative thinking habits and build a new route in your brain for positive thoughts. For example, when you feel down, tell yourself you're beautiful or you're strong.
That's it.
That's not it, you brought it. Thank you, Tutorial 902. Excellent work. You guys came into this school for 2-3 weeks and have already made a difference. Thank you. Ninth graders, while I have you here for 1 second, this is what the school is about. I told you coming in, it's about finding routines. I know you're not the alumni or the faculty staff at all times, but we hear you, we appreciate you, respect you. That is the balance every day that you deserve. At this point in time, it is now time to fire it up for tutorial 1001, our first 10th grade group talking about gentrification in our city. Better neighborhoods! Better neighborhoods! Better neighborhoods! Hey neighbor! Better neighborhoods! Hey neighbor! Better neighborhoods!
Save neighbors.
Better neighborhoods!
Save neighbors.
Better neighborhoods!
Save neighbors.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up! How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I can't hear y'all, but all right, I'm gonna let it slide. All right, welcome in Kyle to the stage. Woo!
Our group chose gentrification. This is an important topic for our community. Gentrification is the transformation of a city neighborhood from low value to high value. The problem comes when people who used to live in that neighborhood, when it was low value, can't afford to live there. When it becomes expensive, this problem especially affects Black and Brown families who became displaced and are forced to find another place to live. We believe that people who have lived in a neighborhood through its most difficult moments should be able to live in that neighborhood. When it finally looks nicer, that's why we say better neighborhoods, but save neighbors.
Mic check 1, 2. All right, my name is Jamal. And I'll be reading the poem "Gentrification is When" by Kathy Ariano, and it goes, "My land has more value when you own it. You're invited to the neighborhood association. I've never seen the welcome mat. You move to my neighborhood for diversity, don't do a damn thing to diversify your own hometown. You stroll carefree through my neighborhood. I'm arrested while you're driving through yours. You buy your house, evict me from my dream home. You move in a buy right, stop stocking, my Nana's #1 ingredient, affordable. Bike lanes go up where there always were bikes, just brown riders. Hundreds of you are never a mob, 2 of us are always a gang. The city installed new lights and Dolores Parks for you. There was a new jail at 17 at Valencia for me. You think this poem is a joke? I don't care what you think, but I have to."
Repeat after me. Better neighborhoods. Better neighborhoods. Better neighborhoods. That's amazing. We're talking at this school. At this school, we get it done. So our social media feed just lost for a second, but we get it back. At this school, we talk about race. At this school, we talk about ownership. About this school, we talk about the inequity of home ownership and financial wealth creation in this city. At this school, we're led by a bold white principal, and we understand what it means to understand people for who they are, and also understand that I may not, or we may not have all the understandings of our students and our families. We appreciate you, and that gentrification is such a real issue in our city. Thank you, and excellent work, 1001. One last thing to 1001. One of the largest unknown ownership pieces of our city is a group called US Bank out of Chicago. We and the cities and communities and neighborhoods in our city build better neighborhoods, plant community gardens, do the work, and other banks from outside the city benefit. True story. US Bank bought so much land in our city for cents on the dollar, and then they profit from out-of-town ownership. Thank you for bringing that thank you for bringing that up. It's powerful. It is now my honor to move into the tutorial 1002, talking about environmental justice. 1002.
I'm Sakayla. And I'm Melanie. And our topic for Peace Day is environmental justice. Environmental justice refers to the fair and equitable treatment of all people, regardless of their race, income, or ethnicity. Concerning environmental laws, regulation, and policies, it encompasses a broad range of concerns related to environmental fairness.
Environmental justice addresses the overall goal of ensuring that no community bears a disproportionate burden of environmental harms or lacks access to environmental benefits. It seeks to achieve equitable environmental outcomes for all communities.
Environmental justice encompasses various environmental issues beyond race, including income, ethnicity, and geography. It recognizes that marginal communities may suffer from multiple forms of discrimination, not limited to race only.
Environmental justice is guided by principles such as fair treatment, no discrimination, meaningful involvement, and accountability. These principles emphasize fairness and inclusivity in environmental decision making.
And that's our topic for Peace Day.
Thank you. 10:02. Hold on a second before we get to 10:03. We're going to be joined by some speakers after 10:03. And I just want to do some thank yous and also a thank you and acknowledgement of Listen Up Media Company as well. So first off, I'm excited to have district folks here from the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office, Mr. Kyle Tribble. We appreciate you being here. These efforts, we're so proud of the school efforts, and that audience is real. Thank you, sir. We're also excited to be joined by our great partners from PA Youth Vote, led by Ms. Angelique Hinton, Ms. Cameron Davis, and the social media crew. We appreciate you. Thank you, PA Youth Vote. And we're also here with Tower Interfaith. So thank you, Mr. Matthew Arlick, for all the training and development he's done for our seniors, and we're looking forward to hearing from our Elder Du Bois in just a few minutes. Thank you for being here. And finally, Ms. Mona Terrell, who heads up PR for the Malcolm Jenkins Foundation. We appreciate your support, along with Ms. Gwendolyn Jenkins, the CEO and president of the foundation, and Mr. Malcolm Jenkins himself. On the back of our shirts is Listen Up. This is the media company that Malcolm Jenkins runs. Everything that we're promoting in terms of student voice and social media will be shared with Mr. Malcolm Jenkins, and we are strategically thinking about building platforms that sustain your voice beyond these four walls. This is the Parkway program. We do not go out into courtrooms and jails and other places of classrooms like it used to happen in the 70s, but the spirit is still there. Your voice, your impact on this city is why this school is called Parkway. And that partnership with Malcolm Jenkins is real, and we are building it. That partnership takes work. So with that, we talk about one more tutorial, doing important work. Please join me in welcoming 10:03, Rallying Against Police Brutality.
Or the ones we love the most is the ones we see as good.
Let me help you understand what I mean by that. We get up, repeat our day, say goodbye to our loved ones, thinking it's going to be a good day. As we're on the way to school, we're wondering how life will be without police, but that's not the message. We pass by the cops, but we see them being cool, so we continue with our day hoping we the ones next to the pool. As we sit back, we think about how they did us. Us black people, like, we ain't got our rights just because of the color of our skin.
Yes, I'm black and I'm loving it.
You just mad you can't be all under this. We see the way they see us. Racism is real in our city. That's why we have to sit back and chill. As I look the cop in his eyes, I see fear, but not fear for his life, but fear for his job. If he pulls the trigger, it's all going down. That's what he fears every time black women come around. Don't get me wrong, our young black men is pretty strong. That's why I take 4 pigs to take them down. Cause the way they did George me, that was wrong. Had a black man on the ground screaming,
I did nothing wrong.
Hands up, don't shoot.
All right, excellent work. Thank you, tutorial 1003. Peace Day, the fight for justice, leading to communities at peace. We need to model as the adults in the school community that we rally alongside you. As we talked about, as I talked about, fund our schools for our students is at my heart, and I've exercised some of my power by including some leadership from friends and colleagues who I have a lot of respect for. I'll tell you a quick story. The funding situation for schools in our state, I learned a lot sitting down in Mount Airy with Rep. Rab and his chief of staff, Ms. Feluke Bennett. They talked about the fair funding formula that takes all these billions of dollars from the state and distributes them across the state fairly. I believe the stat I heard a couple years back was this fair funding formula that gives equitable distribution of funds, primarily to Black and brown communities, is used by the state under 10% of the time. Under 10% of the funds, that billions of dollars of funds that the state can give out, under 10% of that is given out fairly and equitably. If we're talking about fighting for justice, we have to be real about doing it on a systemic, statewide, and nationwide level too. But in this case, we're talking about the state, and there's no better leader to talk about that than our friend from the local community, State Rep. Mr. Chris Rab. Please welcome Mr. Chris Rab.
Thank you. How y'all doing? I'm really glad to be here. I go to a lot of schools. I don't see the fire that I see here. This is very inspiring to me. So I want to connect the dots for you. You were just talking about what? Police brutality. And now I'm supposed to be talking about school funding. What is the connection? Well, let me connect the dots for you. It's one thing to be educated. It's another thing to be wise. You know, you can learn the basics and check off those boxes. But if you don't understand where you fit in society, if you are civically illiterate, you don't know how society functions to help you, or in many cases, hurt you, then that's not a proper education in the 21st century. And so whenever I come to Parkway Northwest, I know that that's the type of education that you all are being instilled with. That is the real education. So what would you do with $400 million? A lot. What if I told you, I'm gonna give you a check for $400 million every year? Would you like that? Well, guess what? The money is there. The money is there. Number two is, it's your money because we all pay taxes, even folks who are not old enough to drive a car or vote. How do you pay taxes? How do you pay taxes? You go to the store. What do you buy? Buy some Takis, right? Whatever. You're paying into the system. Is it paying you back? No. In Philly, you're being ripped off $400 million every year. Why? Because there are people in Harrisburg, in the state capitol, who don't care about you. It is the same people who are more interested in investing in a law enforcement system that criminalizes Black bodies. It's the same people. They view our city as where all the bad people live, where all the awful things happen. They don't see beauty. They don't see joy. They don't see genius. They don't see community. They see stereotypes. And they are not invested in our future, our collective future. But here's the thing. They think they have the power, but they're wrong. We have the power. And let me give you an example that starts with young people. In the summer of 2020, a whole bunch of stuff popped off. Y'all remember? Were any of you out on the streets let me finish. Were any of you out on the streets protesting the killings of George Floyd or Breonna Taylor? Do you have older siblings, parents, anyone who said, this is not right? Raise your hand if you know somebody came out and expressed their First Amendment right on the streets, non-violently, doing what you're supposed to be doing. Look around. There's most of you who had some role to do. Well, guess what? The tens of thousands of young people and other folks who came out to express their First Amendment rights, to talk about police accountability, to talk about police brutality, to talk about racial justice. You all inspired a small group of Black legislators to take over the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, and we shut it down. And we said, we are not leaving the floor until we get immediate legislative action to address police accountability. And in 36 days, which may seem a long time for some of you, but in legislative world, that is like seconds. We were able to introduce bills and create new laws, one of which helps hold cops accountable. The police officers who cause the most mischief and the most harm in our communities, so that if there's a cop who does awful things, he can't just sneak off from that police force and join a police force in the suburbs, or vice versa. It's the first of a kind bill in the entire country that's now Pennsylvania state law because of young Black and brown folks. You all did that. The people you care about did that. And what we do for police accountability, we have much more work to do. We also have to do for fair and full funding of public education. When I mentioned the $400 million, that's a real number. That's a number that you are robbed of, because if all the money went through the fair funding formula, that's how much more Philly alone, not the entire state, just Philly would get. Think about all the amazing things you could do with an additional $400 million every year. So why aren't we doing it? Because we're not organized. We're not organized yet. But you're organizing here. This is one of the few high schools that actually invest in teaching how to organize, teaching how to mobilize and connect the dots. You need to be the tip of the spear in terms of how we get to full and fair funding of public education. You can do this if we organize. We have a choice: organize people or organize money. Right now, there's organized money. There are corporations who want to privatize everything. They want to kill public education. They want to destroy teachers' unions. They want to destroy anything that teaches people about the real truth. You might have heard what's going on in Florida, where they're trying to shut down anything that has to do with the ugly past of Florida and our nation, whether it's slavery or Jim Crow, civil rights. They want to kill all of that. But guess what? There are people who want to do that in Pennsylvania. There's a group called Moms for Liberty. Have y'all heard of Moms for Liberty? They want to liberate themselves from the ugly truth. They don't really believe in mass liberation. They believe in being snowflakes. They're afraid of the truth, but we got to lean into the truth. The truth is complex, the truth is ugly, but there's also a lot of beauty in it. And part of that beauty is what allows us to be in this space now. There were times when we couldn't even be allowed to read and write. In most states across the country, it was illegal for Black folk to read and write. It was illegal for white people to teach Black people how to read and write. You could be publicly whipped as a white person in this country for teaching someone to read and write who is not supposed to read and write? And why would someone be so afraid of Black people learning how to read and write? Knowledge is power. Don't sleep on this education. Don't sleep at where you are right now. This is a gift. The question is, what do you do with this gift? Because there is a narrative out there, and frankly, there's a lot of elected officials saying this. They believe that you're the problem. They believe that teenagers are the problem. Have you heard this? Have you heard people talking about you like dogs? Like, oh, they're groups of teenagers. I love groups of teenagers. I got 2 teenagers. Y'all have the most creativity, the most energy, and you all are closest to the pain. Gun violence, that's not a rhetorical discussion for you. You have people, you have loved ones who have experienced that. So many things, you are closest to the pain. This is why I keep coming back here, because that's how we learn, by taking a step back and listening to people closest to the pain. I'm a fancy state legislator. I'm supposed to know all that stuff. I don't know everything. I have the humility to understand that I'm never going to be the smartest person in the room, and I never want to be the smartest person in the room. And that all of you have different sites of expertise. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Oh, well, you can't get a job. You can't drive a car. You're not old enough to vote. You can't do. They're always going to tell you what you can't do. Who's telling you what you can do? Who's acknowledging your beauty, your genius? Who's doing that? Think about that in your life. Here, at home, on the block. Who's doing it? And that's who you need to gravitate towards. It doesn't matter how much more money we get into these schools if you don't have a sense of self, if you don't understand that education is a tool for empowerment, not just for yourself, but for the community that you embrace, however you define that. We have the power, but only if it's through collective action. That's the only way we move forward. It was never just about King. It was never just about Harriet Tubman. It was never that case. No matter what they say, no matter how many stamps you see in the post office with these great heroes, they didn't do it alone. They always had community. They organized, they strategized, and you have this capacity to do right now. You don't need to wait till you graduate. You can do it now, because the people who are on the front lines in the civil rights movement were teenagers. They're the ones getting bitten by police dogs and hosed down. They were teenagers. And you have so many more resources than they did generations ago. You are extraordinary when you see it in yourself. And I'm tired of these folks talking about all these bad teenagers. I have no love for that narrative. I see your beauty. I see it. I'm inspired by it. And if it wasn't for young people organizing in the street, I don't know if I would have been able to get this police misconduct database enacted into law. And it's a statute that literally saves lives. You hear about some awful things that are happening in police forces around the city, around the country, and we're going to say, when is it going to stop? When is it going to end? But that's the point of introducing good bills that become laws that can change people's lives and say, we're not giving opportunities for bad cops to leave one place and go and disrupt other communities. We can't just wish it away. We got to work at it. And there's an outside game that happens at protests and rallies and schools, and there's an inside game that happens in city council, that happens in the state legislature, that happens in Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. All of these things are things that you can influence, and don't let anyone tell you different. You have the power. And if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be here. And in fact, I wouldn't be alive because I descend from extraordinary Black folk who fought every day, civil rights activists, abolitionists. Those are my people. The reason I serve is because I've seen the beauty of our community when we come together in the worst moments. And you're experiencing one of those worst moments. We are moving towards fascism. And Black folk are the target. Young Black folk are especially targeted. Your bodies have been criminalized. But we're not victims. We survive and we will thrive, but only if we work together. You hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Well, let's do this. Thank you all so much.
You are extraordinary. You're right here. We believe it. Every adult in this room, committed to you today, whether you know it or not. This is a long day. This is a beautiful day, and it is a worthwhile day because it is for you. So let's kick back to the student voice. Thank you, Rep. Rav, one more time. We love and appreciate you. You're a great friend of our school community. We speak the truth always. It is now my honor to turn it back over to tutorial 1101, talking about gender equality.
One, two, three, four. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Overall, women working full-time in the U.S. make 83% of what men do, and collectively working women lose out on more than $500 billion a year.
Gender equality is a fundamental human right that is essential for the well-being of individuals, communities, society as a whole. All right, let's do it up here. You gotta give some time, my fault. Despite progress made achieving gender equality, there are still significant disparities and inequalities that exist between men and women.
The largest gaps occur among financial service sales again, agents, financial managers, and financial advisors. In those fields, the pay ratio between women and men is between 61 through 66%.
These inequalities can be various aspects of life, including education, employment, healthcare, and political representation.
And for Work 1101, women's rights are human rights. Speaking of double standards, it is now time to welcome 1102, tutorial 1102, talking about our society's double standards. Tutorial 1102.
Hello, student, guests, and staff at PSA. We are tutorial 1102, and for our Peace Day topic, we choose to touch base on something that affects us in various aspects of our lives. Double standards.
Double standards refer to unjust applications of different sets of principles for similar situations. It's when one group is allowed more leniency or privilege while another group is judged more harshly for the same behavior. This unequal treatment often arises from biases and can lead to unfair judgments and discrimination.
Some examples of double standards are son versus daughter, basically saying how a father who allows his 16-year-old son to stay out until midnight but doesn't let his daughter go out past 10 p.m.
Another example of double standards that is white versus black. For example, when police see a group of white people or white men in the corner, they don't think they're nothing. But soon as they see a group of black men, they think they are a threat or white dangerous.
Yeah, number two, appreciate you. Great work. And now, as they get seated, it is time to finish our 11th grade tutorial rally presentations for tutorial 1103, talking about colorism.
When they say they going out, it's not tired of being wrong, you can't even pay me enough to read.
Shaw.
And I'm Jordan Singleton.
Our Peace Day topic is colorism. By definition, colorism is a discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same racial group. But to us, it's pointless. What's the point of talking down on someone just
Because of their skin, we're the same race, we have the same history. So what's the point? A while back, African Americans received terrible treatment just because their skin was darker than others. If we already had to endure that treatment, then why bring it back and do it to each other?
Our goal for today is to bring awareness to colorism so that maybe one day we can make a change.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tutorial 1103. I'm going to take a minute to introduce a powerful leader in our city and in our district. It's my honor to introduce Dr. Robin Cooper, head of Local 502, CASA, for school administrators, the only administrative union for administrators in the state of Pennsylvania. We heard a lot about the intersection of how the fight for justice crosses many different parts of our society. Talking about somebody who has a perspective as a school leader, as somebody who supports educators, somebody who has a voice for change in the city, who's seen so much and continues to grind to get after it and lead both all of us as administrators professionally, but me personally as well. She's somebody that we look up to with a ton of respect, and she has seen school by school the impact of funding on educators, on families, on educational leaders, and students and teachers. It's my honor to introduce Dr. Robin Cooper.
Thank you, Principal Marlon. I appreciate that. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to everyone. Now, all of the energy that I saw in this room, I need you to give me a hearty welcome. Good afternoon. That's a lot better. I am absolutely pleased to be here. I'm always pleased to come to Parkway because I am a graduate of the Parkway program so many years ago. So I came to Parkway when it was like the open door policies, open door everything, where you travel from place to place. So I always like to come to any of the Parkway programs. I just want to talk to you a little bit about funding and my role as a union leader. I represent administrators, which is a little uncommon in the state of Pennsylvania. But in doing so, we lobby for funding to make sure we can get what we can get from the state of Pennsylvania, so you have a safe place to go to school. And so when we're looking and talking about the teacher vacancies and all of the other pieces, we want to make sure that you have what you need. So we spend a lot of time talking to city officials, state officials, just to make sure that Philadelphia is not left off the list. If you don't know, we are improperly and inappropriately funded, which means that we don't get our fair share of what we are supposed to get. So events like this, where you are fighting for social justice and you are fighting for your right to receive a good quality education, where I stand, I went to the School District of Philadelphia schools, all public education. There is nobody in the state of Pennsylvania that can tell me that you cannot get a top quality education in Philadelphia. My issue is you should not have to fight for it. It should be a right. Every teacher should be a great teacher. You should have what you need to have. If there are 20 teachers that you need, the district should not give you 16 and say figure out the rest, which means now you have overcrowded classrooms because you're only given the 16, but you really need 20. So these are some of the issues that we look at to make certain that our children are able to sit in school, be safe. So in CASA, Commonwealth Association for School Administrators, we lobby for 5 positions. We believe each and every school should have a principal, an assistant principal, a climate manager, a special education compliance manager, and a school-based teacher leader. That is in addition to the teachers and everyone else that you already have. But we believe that we should be comparable to how education is funded in the suburbs. So I encourage you, please fight for your schools, fight for your teachers, fight for everything, because you have a right to a top quality education. I thank you for having me today, and it's always a pleasure.
As I said, Dr. Robert Cooper preaches, she speaks the truth. Our school budget, of what she just went over, does not include an assistant principal. We lost 2 teachers last year due to connections for school selection, and we're not able to fully develop our Academy for Peace and Justice the way we would like to. If you don't think that the funding situation impacts schools, impacts families, impacts teachers and educators, and impacts you, then that's our job as educators, to help you in the School for Social Justice see that impact, know the impact you can have, and vote, and vote again, and get out on the streets and stay active. That's part of the reason why the community service is designed to allow you to do what you want to do, to find your truth, your passion, and really get after it. But enough about me talking, because one last thing, let's give it up for Dr. Robert Cooper. Thank you, Dr. Cooper. It is now time to turn it over to our seniors. First off, hold up. Can we give it up for Mr. Logan in the house? Logan Spradley in the house, our little one. I know a lot of us have been asking Ms. Spradley to bring in Logan, so we appreciate that. It is now time to turn it over to tutorial 1201, talking about homelessness.
Let's go, let's go. Mic check, mic check. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for 1201?
When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say helpless, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good. When I say I'm good, you say homeless. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, what's up, y'all? All right, how y'all been today? Y'all been good? No? No? Yeah? No? All right, without further ado, we're going to introduce one of our favorite seniors. Angel, let's give it up for her poem.
Homelessness, people with no homes. In a world of uncertainty where hope seems to fade, the plight of homelessness, a reality we can't evade. People building houses on the streets because they have no place to call home. No shelter from the storms, no cozy bed to sleep, a harsh reminder of our failures and our failures to be heard. The homelessness is so often forgotten in a society that's numb. We should take time to listen and give them a chance to come. A tragedy where people suffer and roam, endless days of searching for a place to call home. Forced to live outside all alone and feeling old, a sadness in their eyes, a desperation in their plea, no one's helped them out, no friendly face to see. Their basic needs ignored, their voices silenced in the crowd. Without a home, so many lives remain in this crowd. We can't turn away and ignore their cry for help. We must help them for them to have a fighting chance. Provide them with food and your loving embrace so they can build a better life and find a place.
Are we good? Who's ready to see some of the best dancers in the school? Who's ready to see some of the best dancers in the school? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, 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 let's go, turn it up, let's go. Go, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on, Jada, let's get in there. Let's, oh, hey, 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 hey. Let's go. That's it. Let's give a round of applause. Come on, let's go. All right. We done.
Hold up, wait, don't start. Fly for the take. Hold up, wait, don't start. Go. Take. Open up that so check. Open up that check. Fly for the
Let's keep that vibe going for tutorial 1202. A salute mental health. Here we go, tutorial 1202.
Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bring them out, bring them out, hey. Bring them out, bring them out, you. Bring them out, hey. Bring them out, bring them out.
VIPs coming live from the VIP. Hurry like those lights with that new most days in the state wanna see like me. The whole city got Pittsburgh, he got 3. That other rapper got a hip shout, he got out. Who said the city on 5 soon as he got 3 to king back now. Raw don't even know how to act now. Hit the blood strippers getting naked before I sat down. Still ballin', money stacked tall the shack down. Still pushing button to let them pull the back down. I'm on the road doing shows, doing Mac down. Mississippi to Philly, Albuquerque to Chat Town. Got the crowd yelling, bring them out, bring them out. I'm a hot girl yelling, bring them out, bring them out. All the dope boys yelling, bring them out, bring them out. Put the back cage yelling, bring them out, bring them out.
We tutorial 1202 and our topic is mental health. So when I say mental, y'all say health. Mental. Mental. When I say mental, y'all say health. Mental. Mental.
All right, everybody. Hello, and we are tutorial 1202, and our topic is mental health. Mental health is something that a lot of young people struggle with and oftentimes not talked about. Did you know that 10% of children and teenagers suffer from clinically diagnosable mental illness, one of the leading causes of disabilities in young children?
More than 50 Americans struggle with mental health issues, and about half of the cases of mental illness begin at the age of 15, and 75% of them develop before the age of 25.
Youth depression rates are on a rise from 12.9% to 25.2%, pre-pandemic to 2021. Most Americans lack access to adequate mental health treatment. 54.7% of American adults with mental health struggles did not receive care in the last year.
Lastly, in honor of Suicide Prevention Month, we are thinking of those who are fighting suicidal thoughts. Who have lost someone to suicide, have attempted, have no support system, and are scared to speak up. We see you, we stand for you, and we support you. Please get the help that you need and deserve. Don't weather the storm alone.
Catch another case, I know it's true to be missed, so I'ma keep a cool head, stay out of the news headlines, and show these other rappers bedtime. Still see that I'm a hell of a time. I'm not the phone down hard, talking real to shine. I got some time, they ain't nothing, I get better with time. Who got a flow when I'm live, show better than mine. I got a packed house, yelling, bring them out, bring them out. I'm a hot girl, yelling, bring them out, bring them out. I'm a dope boy, yelling, bring them out, bring them out. Fuck the back gate, yelling, bring them out, bring them out. Look, mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Rest in peace, everybody. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Tutorial 1202. And our last speaker, bringing us home and talking about so many different issues. It's my honor to introduce Elder Melanie DeBose from Power Interfaith. Listen to this background. Power's Live Free co-chair, member of the Civilian Police Oversight Commission within the city, a powerful elder both with the Power Interfaith in the local churches of Philadelphia and within the power structures of our city. Elder DeBose, please welcome. We welcome you to Parkway Northwest High School for Peace and Social Justice.
Louisiana, murder on the beat. Sophie gotta cut up to you. Yeah. Everybody get your roll on. I don't show you, she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let the thing loose, girl, it's so long. You been inside, know you like to lay low. I've been peeping what you bring to the table. Working hard, girl, every day painful. Front slash phone, bill, car, no cable.
What's up, Parkway? How y'all doing today? I'm gonna tell you the truth. Y'all killing the game. And you had me a little shooketh about being up here. Now let me read the room for a minute, because as many of you can tell, I'm totally blind. So if you can see me, let me get you to clap once. Now let me find out something else. If I'm looking good, let me get you to clap again. That's what's up. I like that so nice. I think that was so nice. I'm going to do it twice. If I'm looking good, clap again. Thank you. That helps me read the room. As I said, y'all are killing the game. I was sitting in my seat trying to figure out what music I wanted y'all to bring me out on. And I couldn't think of nothing. I said to myself, I can stand before these young people and drop it like it's hot. but I might not be able to get it back up. As was said, I am a representative of power, which was originally called Philadelphians Organized to Witness, Empower, and Rebuild. We now not only operate in Philadelphia, but across the Commonwealth, because we, the old folk, are trying to kill the game and pave the way so that the manner in which you are all turned up in this room, we need you to keep turning it up and turn it up outside of these walls. I don't know if it's proper for an elder to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Y'all are doing a hell of a job. This is the manner in which power has paved the way over the last 12 years. In honor of my executive director, Dwayne David Royster, I want to say that we too are paving the way. And we want you to continue to feel empowered and emboldened to keep turning it up. Now, since I can't see you, and since I'm a church girl, I'm gonna need you to either say, "That's what's up," or "Amen." So if you like the vibe, you give me a "that's what's up," or you give me an "amen." So for the last dozen years, power has been working on economic justice, because there is no sense in working a full-time job and still not being able to feed your family. Somebody can say amen. Amen. So we have been demanding a $15 hour wage. But by the time you start working, y'all gonna need $25. So we're cutting that path, but we want you to stay on it. We are also demanding education justice. And you've been hearing all day about the lack of parity in our schools across this city and across the Commonwealth. Keep turning it up until they get it right. You are privileged to come here where there's a little air blowing. And maybe they've addressed the asbestos in your school. But none of our children should go to schools that are riddled with asbestos, mold, and dangerous toxins. Am I right about it? Power also works on climate justice, because somebody decided that it was a hoax. Well, I don't know what's happening on your block, but my block is as hot as hell. And the temperatures across the nation indicate that there's something wrong. So we're working on that, and we're saying we need finances to create more green spaces. And Philadelphia does not have the right to sell off our park spaces. The other thing I want to tell you that we've been working on is police reform. That is why I am one of Philadelphia's police oversight commissioners. that you may not walk up on our black and brown bodies and leave us dead in the street or leave us dead in our beds. We're turning up on the issues that matter to you because you have the right to operate and to live in a safe and orderly environment and not be beaten down. So power is on the move, and I'm here to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. When I started my movement down in North Philly some years ago, I was looking around and said, my God, what happened to my city? And you named it: discrimination, gentrification, poverty, food insecurity, home insecurity, colorism. You name it, you ran it down. So you know. And you gave me the confidence to know that this city is in good hands because of young people like you. Y'all have been killing it, so I'm going to wrap up this way. James Henley wrote a poem that says, it's called Invictus. And he said it like this: out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried out loud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. And then he goes on to say, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. It doesn't matter how hard it's going to get. He says, I am the captain of my fate, and I am the master of my soul. So no matter what they say, and no matter what restrictions you may feel, you are the captain. You are the master of your fate, and you are the captain of your soul. Keep doing the daggone thing.
Louisiana, right on the beat. Something y'all to cut up to, though. Yeah. Everybody get your roll on. I don't show you, she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let the thing loose, girl, it's so long. You been inside, know you like to lay low. I've been peeping what you bring it to the table. Working hard, girl, everything paid for. First, last phone bill, call, no cable. Put your phone out, gotta hit them angles. Put your phone down, snapping like you Fable. And you showing up, but it's alright. And you showing up, but it's alright. It's a short life, yeah.
All right, Parkway, let's give it up for Elder DeBose. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your leadership and your power. A moment of principal speak. We need to get our sixth period teachers out into the atrium for a second. Sixth period teachers out to the atrium I'll dismiss students in 2 minutes or so. Hold up. All right. We've talked about the leadership for justice, leading to communities at peace. The front of our shirts are very simple. Find. I'd ask 1 second, 1 minute. The act of finding. Joy doesn't happen. Peace doesn't happen. It's not always a natural state that's just right in front of you. Our school year has started off on an excellent footing because we've seen our faculty, our staff, and our students doing that action, that verb, that finding, that solving peace. We know on a very micro, direct level that that is not always the reality here. I am thankful for the school community that we have started out with this school year. I am thankful for how much we've grown in the last number of years. And please know, as we find joy, and I will dismiss you to get your cell phones and then going out to the front to get some, yes. So before we do that, I am a principal, and so that's the principal part of it, but as the personal side, we appreciate you. I look forward to celebrating with you outside. At this point in time, let us find joy with our 11th and 12th graders reporting to the atrium. 11th and 12th graders. DJ Head Rush, you want to sneak outside?
How many people on here? No, like it's been going on for an hour, bro. You leaving?
My name is Kayla. I'm a 9th grader.
You gotta go outside and DJ? You gonna play some song suggestions for us?
Whatever you want.
Whatever we want?
As long as it's the clean version.
Alright.
We play some Broadway.
Play Sexy Red. It's gonna be clean. Alright.
Play
Every other word gonna be bleeped
Play.
Alright, Broadway, bro.
Follow me at BGM101_.